Dr. Elaine Marsh is a successful therapist who helps people find their lost memories. But when a quiet patient named Thomas starts predicting terrible crimes before they happen, Elaine begins to look into her own past. She soon makes a terrifying discovery: she has no childhood photos, no school records, and no memory of her life before her clinic. Who is Elaine Marsh? And why does a hidden tape recording call her by a different name? Listen to the full story to uncover the chilling truth of the mind's darkest trap. They say that the human mind is like a house. It has bright rooms where we live every day, and dark basements where we hide our worst memories. Dr. Elaine Marsh was a therapist. Her job was to help people go down into those dark basements. She lived in a quiet, gray city by the cold sea. She was smart, calm, and very good at her job. Patients trusted her to help them remember things they had forgotten. But Elaine had a secret of her own. She could not remember her own childhood house. In fact, she could not remember anything about her life before she opened her clinic. She had no family photos, no old school friends, and no memories before the age of 30. She told herself that she was simply too busy with her work to think about the past. One cold Thursday afternoon, a new patient arrived at her office. His name was Thomas. Thomas was a very quiet man. He did not have a phone number, he did not list any emergency contacts, and he paid for his session in cash. When Elaine put him into hypnosis, a deep, peaceful sleep of the mind, Thomas did not talk about his childhood. Instead, his voice became completely flat and cold. At 9:40 p.m. tonight, Thomas whispered, staring straight ahead with closed eyes. A man in a black coat will walk down the wet alley behind the old theater. A second man will step out of the shadows. There will be a silver knife. There will be blood on the bricks. Elaine wrote everything down in her notepad. She believed Thomas was only describing a bad dream or an old trauma. She told him to wake up, and Thomas left the office quietly. 3 days later, Elaine opened the morning newspaper. Her heart stopped. On the third page was a photograph of a wet alley behind the old theater. A man had been attacked with a knife at exactly 9:40 p.m. on Thursday night. Every detail was exactly as Thomas had described it. Elaine felt a cold wave of fear. She called the police, but they did not believe her. They thought she was just a stressed doctor who was working too hard. At the next session, Thomas returned. He sat in the same chair, closed his eyes, and went back into a deep sleep. In 2 days, Thomas said in his flat voice, "There will be a fire in the big house on the hill. A woman will scream, but the doors will be locked from the outside." Elaine tried to wake him up. She told him she could not be his doctor anymore. But when she tried to speak, she felt a strange heaviness in her chest. She could not bring herself to cancel the next session. It felt as if an invisible thread was pulling her forward, and she could not break it. Elaine decided to search for proof of her own existence. She opened her office desk drawers. She searched for her university ID card, her birth certificate, or even a single photograph of herself as a teenager. There was nothing. The drawers were full of pens, patient files, and clinical paper. But there was not a single trace of her life. She went to her receptionist and asked, "When did you start working for me?" The receptionist stared at her, confused. I don't know, Dr. Marsh. I have always worked here." Elaine looked at her lease agreement for the office. The paper was clean, but the signature line at the bottom was completely blank. Elaine realized a terrifying truth: she was not investigating Thomas. She was investigating herself. Desperate for answers, Elaine sat in her empty office that night. She turned on a voice recorder. She lay down on her couch and hypnotized herself, going deep into her own mind to find her lost memories. When she woke up, the room was dark and cold. She played the recording back. At first, she heard her own calm voice guiding herself into sleep. But halfway through the tape, her voice suddenly changed. It became younger, higher, and filled with deep terror. "My name is Sarah," the voice on the tape gasped, crying. "I don't know how long I have been gone. They took my face. They took my name. If you are hearing this, you have found the gap in the memory. Do not let Dr. Wren close it again." Elaine stared at the tape recorder. Dr. Victor Wren was a famous neuroscientist. He was also Elaine's mentor, the man who had helped her start her practice. The next morning, Elaine drove to Dr. Wren's large, warm house. Wren welcomed her with a kind, fatherly smile. He made hot tea and asked her to sit down by the fire. He called her Elaine. "Dr. Wren," she said, her hands shaking. "Who is Sarah?" Dr. Wren's smile faded slightly. He sighed and touched her hand gently. "Sarah was a brilliant student of mine, Elaine. But 3 years ago, she had a terrible mental breakdown. She is gone now. I am so sorry." As Dr. Wren spoke, Elaine noticed something chilling. The sound of his voice had a strange, rhythmic flow. It was the exact same cadence, the exact same speed, as the hypnosis guide on her tape. Suddenly, the warm room felt heavy. Her legs felt like lead. She realized that the tea was drugged, and Dr. Wren was hypnotizing her right now, trying to put the Elaine personality back to sleep. "You are Elaine Marsh," Wren whispered, his voice warm and heavy. "You are a composed, brilliant doctor. You have a quiet practice. You are safe here." Elaine felt the darkness closing in on her mind. She tried to close her eyes, but she knew that if she slept now, Elaine would wake up, and Sarah would be gone forever. With her very last bit of strength, she stood up. She stared into Wren's eyes and screamed, "Sarah." The word felt like a sharp piece of glass breaking in her brain. The heavy gray fog snapped away. She pushed Dr. Wren back, ran out of the house into the cold rain, and got into her car. She finally understood the terrible truth. Dr. Elaine Marsh was not a real person. She was a constructed identity, a fake memory planted inside the mind of Sarah, a student who had disappeared 3 years ago. Thomas was not a patient, he was a handler sent by Dr. Wren to watch her. The future crimes Thomas predicted were not visions. They were tests created by Wren to see if the Elaine program was still working, or if the real Sarah was starting to wake up. Elaine had never been the doctor. She was the patient. She had been the experiment the entire time. In the end, the fake identity of Dr. Elaine Marsh began to crumble like dry leaves in the wind. The real Sarah resurfaced, stronger and angry. She exposed Dr. Wren's illegal experiments to the world, and his secret laboratory was shut down. But Sarah could never fully go back to the person she was before the study. The memories of Dr. Elaine Marsh, the calm, brilliant therapist, remained in her head alongside her own childhood. She was no longer just Sarah, and she was no longer Elaine. From the wreckage of both lives, she stood by the gray sea, took a deep breath, and began to build someone entirely new.